Hello everybody, drawing today some castles. So, and here interesting case to show how intuitive perspective works and kind of how you can approach such views constructive way without being too boring and unnecessary, technical. So let me choose some pencil. Hello view frame. Yeah, now I use new microphone. Tell me like how sound is okay or not. Так. Let me this size. Okay, so you see like first what is kind of most obvious thing you can do is find horizon line and vanishing point, kind of, right? So here we see it's like the vanishing point kind of here, right? But just having vanishing point, having horizon line, even like perspective grid, if you draw all this axis, doesn't help you much in this situation. Yeah, it helps, but you see so many objects, they're very, I don't know, it's like organization of them. It's not so systematic, kind of, let's say. Especially we can see it clearly on this one, because here we have all this like rocks. Так, how to erase all this? Okay, same like, let's say here. Again, we have clearly like the vanishing point and clear horizon line. But what is really interesting, it's all these surfaces, all these like sides, and this can be like very confusing when you try to draw such view, right? It's like, for me at least, like I was always interested, like how can I draw this, don't making it just kind of flat depiction, but I wanted to be like really into perspective, like any other form, like a vehicle. So, and this you can perfectly do this by applying intuitive perspective principles. Так, let's go back to the screen. Oh, nice. Oh, physics exam. Interesting. So, what this principles is like, you need to watch my 2 video, intuitive perspective, part 1 and part 2. Idea, it's just like kind of simple. It's like if we use vanishing point to draw box, same we can do without vanishing points, just having kind of practice to have vanishing point in your mind. So here I was thinking about vanishing point here. If I want to use same vanishing point and draw like this. But what is more interesting is you can be like really flexible and versatile, like just drawing like a rotation of objects what you use here, it's these two principles of one is Krian's cubes, which is about how our visual perception of objects works. So when you look at object, you perceive object rotation according to your line of sight. So it's like this object is rotated like 45 angle, so we see two surfaces like here. Or if it's rotated like 22.5, we will see kind of like this here, like this cube. So you can like point them toward same vanishing point, but without drawing any vanishing point. Just creating illusion, like it's kind of perfectly organized when actually there is no clear structure. It's just main principle like of aligning all elements according to each other in a space. We create an illusion of space by arranging all these objects. So when we see top surface of boxes, it's clear that this object below eye level, right, below horizon line. When we see bottom surface of object, it can be like mug, or motorcycle. So if you see it from below, it means it's above your eye level, which also means it's above your horizon line, right? So, and higher it goes, like farther above it goes, more we see is like a ratio will be greater for bottom part and less ratio we will have for a side. Okay. Then in another tutorial also I was talking about like my videos about how to draw roads. It's Will Weston he talking about drawing ribbons. So not only boxes, not only spheres, cylinders and this stuff, but also ribbon. So it's like when we have curve, and this curve you can make into ribbon. You can make it into ribbon with form, like kind of with a thickness, right? Because it have a side, like top side, left, right, front and back. Also like box logic applied to ribbon. So in this box logic I use for drawing roads, and I was explaining this in tutorial, like how to draw roads in perspective, when basically like you can just experiment and try to draw like like some crazy ribbon, let's say like this, and make it apply box logic to ribbon, right? So it's just like your exercise. Let's see. So this kind of exercises, these principles, they just improve your intuitive perspective. This kind of a more organic, more fluent skill, which also, of course, it's always can be, I mean, it's always kind of follow same principles, horizon line and stuff, but you don't need actually to draw it. You're being more artistic, more kind of, you know. So another tutorial also about One Punch Man. I was talking about how we can draw like really like a broken forms, like a broken surfaces. So for example, like if you have surface in perspective, right, and then once you have this surface, you can cut it, right? You can do whatever crazy cut you will have in your mind. And it's kind of interesting trick. It's very much like psychological for us as artists, because this thing, it's like, imagine like if you just draw like a random shape, right? It doesn't have any perspective. But if you practice drawing surface and then cut this surface, and let's say if here's this y-axis, you apply y-axis like a box logic to this surface, right? And then you have vanishing point, so you can kind of draw guidelines. You can draw this z-axis on a surface, on this cut surface. So you see, it's so much three-dimensional now. It's absolutely integrated in perspective. It's not a random flat shape. So once you kind of practice doing it with a vanishing point, let's say, because this can be like a broken wall, you know, like we see a lot in Akira. Once you practice drawing something like this, then it just will be your kind of installed filter, yours is like intuitive perspective filter in your mind, because then you can turn any shape in a kind of integrate in any perspective you want. So we can put like vanishing point here. Now say, okay, this shape is in this perspective, right? So and once I have perspective, I can draw like, let's say, a vehicle put on this surface, because for drawing objects I need some surface which will be like a part of a space. In a space it's always XYZ, because perspective grid XYZ, it's what unites all these elements together, so they coexist. They coexist, they're not just being disconnected like in chaotic. So, and then you see kind of like we are taking all these principles, once you practice them separately, right, then you practice how to use them together. So this principle of eye level, so, and how surface will be open, how ratio change depends on distance from eye level, right? So it's like here we don't see surface at all, like a 0. Here is like 22 angle. This one is like maybe 60 angle or 45, whatever. So same with the cube, let's say. Don't need to be like super precise here, you know, like use some rulers, like how far it's from it. No, you create an illusion, and you, like, we're making transition from this angle to this angle, right? I establishing it. I'm not looking for this in an encyclopedia, you know. I don't use any like formula. No, I establish it myself. It's my fictional reality. And once I establish, I create transition. So if I establish in my drawing this ratio, so here we have this ratio like that. So let's say here will be like middle something, here will be this ratio, and closer move to horizon line. Like ratio will change. So, and then also this principle you apply it to this like non-symmetrical forms, right? Because it's also like have surface. Trick is like, because this kind of non-symmetrical form, like organic kind of form, can be like totally random, right? It's like nobody can actually see how it should look on this angle. But for you as artist, you need to have this intuition. You need to have like a feeling, idea of what is placement, what is angle for this form. So it's like which ratio it is. So, and then like, I mean, you can draw it without drawing box, just draw random. Kind of just having in mind this, right? It's very important. So even if like for viewer, for some people, like they will like look at this, say like, why I don't see any system, right? I don't see like any calculations or whatever. You just draw like random shapes. But for you now it should be clear, right? So you see I applying these principles. So like farther I move away from eye level this form, more we see how like top surface exposed and less of a side surface exposed. And same as like if I move it to like above eye level. And ribbon, yeah, also ribbon. So don't know, let's see. Or can be if like road. So if I draw like it's like a road, so you can see like farther road go away from eye level. So kind of like more it should look like we look like open over top surface of it. So let's can draw more clear. Some kind of this, you know. So it's an intuitive way to create this. Yeah, like, okay, maybe even here can be, anyway. Closer this ribbon goes to eye level, to horizon line. Less exposed top surface of a road. Let's say something like this. And then you can add grid to it anytime. And let's say here says Y, because this grid can change, right? You can create like road which is not perfectly even. It can be like bumpy, winding. So I don't know what to say, like this. So it's also like this intuitive perspective principles. So it's not so much principles, you see, it's just like angles, ribbons, torn surfaces. Let's say like torn surface. And then you just like kind of more you practice them, more you kind of clever and quick with this stuff. So, and now again go back to castles, right? So now you see like all this environment, all these rocks, stones, like plains, surfaces. It's like abstract composition of these forms, which you will perfectly draw using these intuitive perspective principles. So let's see. So let's say this kind of ellipse here. And when you draw such stuff, it's also convenient, like helpful to keep in mind, so you not really try to copy it exactly. Kind of depends on how much time you have, and what kind of your task. So if your task is to draw like a portrait of this place, like, you know, you love this place and you want to draw it exactly as it is, yeah, this is one type of task. But if you just want to kind of draw your own view inspired by this view, then you don't need to kind of follow exactly all these proportions. Так. Where's this green? So, and then it's just like playing around to look how you want to subdivide this. You can start from big forms, then break it into small. Like if me with a pencil on a paper, first I will just draw like very general idea of them. So, and then you see like these organic forms and this like man-made structure. Man-made structure like perfectly work with vanishing point and horizon line. So like, okay, let's take pink. Castle is like perfect, like a box, just following perspective grid. And this thing here, so they actually have same vanishing point and same perspective grid. Так, anyway. Let's draw this. Так. So let's say this is the vanishing point, horizon line. So we have this stuff for playing some hills. Так. Castle about here, and then here we have like a park area. And this rocks. So this park area and castle itself, they're following vanishing point and this perspective grid. So for this perspective grid we have x-axis like this, so horizon line, x-axis, then draw in between, kind of like this. So this also aspect of drawing whatever 3D form is always keep in mind how it looks two-dimensionally, because you just can't ignore it. You should always consider it like direction of two-dimensional lines. Let's say you here like castle, you see, is like have this amazing like sharp edge vertical pattern, so a lot of vertical lines, so like kind of like representing human engineering, you know, this kind of engineering mind. And here some kind of a reflection of this in a structure in the park. When this natural environment is more raw and chaotic, right? So kind of like think of this kind of more chaotic shapes. There's like so lines of a castle, they're kind of like cut through this chaos, right? It's like it's really like a fortress. Stronghold of order in a world of chaos. This is like this, right? So it's always a visual narrative, always. And this like rocks, they're like heaven, like you can find, you know, this like many tutorials showing you like find first like main levels, main big forms, or you can make like one big form, but it's also, you see, it look like kind of multi-layer, kind of like an onion skin, because we have like these ribbons, like layer after layer. Something like this. And it's also a good example like how different artists can approach it differently. It's like choose your focus, like make your creative decision. It's not only about how you, like what materials you use, or like how you draw certain visual effects, but also like how you analyze what you're looking at, right? So let's say, just kind of to make it clear, like for myself I will not do this hatching, but to make it more clear. So here is kind of entrance, and this like surface for a road. and here can think what kind of how forms organized in this area. So it's something like kind of like this. So like at first sketch you just kind of make general arrangement. Later you can also adjust. For example, if you want to make this transitions over surface angles, surface ratios more clear, you still can do it. So make corrections is not kind of mistake. It's a process of drawing. Так, so let's say like if we go like this. So here's kind of surface in the park. Yeah, also kind of problem with drawing such views. If you don't have like very high resolution image, or better, you need to have like bunch of images, like several images, not only one. It's hard to really say what happened in here. Not clear at all. Так, but seems, let's say, anyway, so that's why I prefer to use a reference more just like inspiration than try and really draw it exactly as it in the real world, because I don't know exactly how it looks. It's much easier to draw it from real life. Here it's too much confusion with photograph images. Anyway, later we'll do castle. Yeah, anyway, so you see, like any of this surface you can like draw grid from our original perspective grid. So it's like I put here x axis on the top surface. We also have some trees. Tree also is like, will have this like ellipses, which should follow like a ratio of ellipses I show in here already. Even it's kind of, it's not actually ellipse, it's just some random round form. But kind of like I say here, at least for yourself, keep in mind like you are trying to align them to this space. So same here, we have X, this one is like 45, this go to Z, again go to X, again go to Z. Can put some tree, can think of tree as a cylinder. I mean, just in your mind. Again, like I say, all this, like many of these lines you don't need to draw. It depends on each particular case. Like when you feel it will help you, you draw in these lines. When you already can see it, then you don't need to draw all of them. So так, let's see. Castle here. This is our X axis. So below eye level, so ellipse should be like this. Yeah, which this castle should be really cool into how the Mountain Blade. Mountain Blade, yes, kind of game. Where you can raid castles. Так. Here's already above eye level. So church, go like this. Make it too big. Yeah, and so all this, you see, like what we have slanted surfaces of roofs, like this, right? It's also 2D abstract composition, two-dimensional. This is like what I was talking about. So if you look castle, yeah, like dominant shape here is vertical lines, right? They're like everywhere, main force. Then we have slanted surfaces. Then we have these like shapes of these chimneys. When you break it down to elements like this, it's much more creative than when you just chasing looks, you know, when you just chase a visual appearance kind of. And you should break out from this tendency to just copy visual kind of appearance of stuff. You like, it's a bad habit. It's kind of lazy mind tendencies. So free yourself from this, like remind yourself constantly, like, okay, I don't want just chasing this look. No, I need to break down what this look is made of, and then I arrange these elements. And this is like, I understand many years ago when I was just wondering, like, why is like a huge difference between some artists, like artists who draw, like they might draw like super realistically, draw every details, everything, but it feels dead. It feels like no energy, no force in it, right? And there are some artists who like can be like also extremely realistic, but a lot is much less detailed, much less realistic, but it feels more real. It feels like something which like really exists, like you can feel it, you know. So an answer for this, it's processing. Is like how artists process information. It's like if you process it, if you analyze, like break down, analyze, and recreate, like organize elements, then it's like work which you kind of let through yourself, right? Like you put yourself into it in every details. So every details, every element in your work there because you decide them to be here, not because you just kind of copy pasting, you know, like you're not mindlessly placing them. And subconsciously we always can see it. We always recognize this. We always can feel like, oh, here's so many elements which kind of artists feel they must be there, they must be there, so he draws them. He not really know why, he not really process them, he not really make creative choice, he just feel obliged, like he should draw this stuff, and then artists like who everything in his work he choose to put into his work, every detail, every element, you always feel it, so you can just go and look at artist works and tell me later like you can see it or not, because it's kind of like it's clear, you can always feel it, you can always see it. Like people who speak many smart words but they not really have anything to say, they don't say anything, they just speak. Same artist, kind of like it's absolutely pointless activity when you just try to make something for it looks. It's maybe some kind of controversial, but it is like we draw it not for looks, we draw it, we make art for essence, for something standing behind looks. It's like visuals, it's kind of like our tools of manipulation. It's not our goal. We're not trying to look like artists, It's kind of very interesting, very different thing, like, it's funny paradox. Like people who trying to be artists, who trying to look like artists, they're less artists than people who don't want to look like artists, but they want to achieve certain effects, like make certain effects on a viewer by visual tools. Oh, and then of course can be anything. Somebody can be like a amazing artist and call himself artist and enjoy it. I'm not chasing perfect generalization here. It's not important. Just sharing my perspective, which I think can be like really helpful. It's kind of this like concept which should kind of guide you towards important insights which will help you to be better artists. If they're not work for you, okay, then just don't mind. For somebody it works. For somebody it's like important this kind of words they need to hear. And this only what I can do is to say what I can say. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think. What's cool about this new microphone, it can capture drawing sounds, so now it's more how it's called, ASMR effects. Так, I don't need to go to draw line art already. Так, let's erase this.
Madness. This is Jane Bond art.
Так. Nice. Yeah, thank you. So also when you make ink, also keep this patterns, visual composition in mind, because even if you have like in a pencil sketch, you kind of organize, establish this like vertical rhythms for man-made structures. But then in ink, if you forget about this, you will break it all. So it's important kind of like every time kind of have in mind this main relationship or kind of like meaning of composition elements. Like what was your plan kind of, right? So and you can, like how I do sometimes for myself is kind of for a reminder, you can draw a couple vertical lines. So they will be also like kind of like a grid, like a anchor. They will help you to not break this kind of visual key, right? Also, you can find on YouTube a video, like a lecture or presentation from game designer of Cyberpunk 2077. I forget who's this guy. He's like director of a designer department, or how it's called. It's called like Visual Bible or Design Bible for Cyberpunk. So you just try different names for like design, concept art, Visual Bible, Design Bible, Cyberpunk 2077. Like about 1 hour he really talk on a lot interesting information. So there he also was talking, he's showing this design patterns for different like architecture or trends, because they have like different time periods. So these different time periods have different visual design, different like rhythms, and it's amazing. I like story in a cyberpunk. I don't like, but visuals, like artist work, I think is amazing. Just can learn a lot. So they have like about 4 main styles in a game, and these 4 main styles is like 4 different time periods in a storyline, and these 4 different time periods reflected in the people clothes, in the technology, and in architecture. And you can see in the city how they're like sometimes they're like intersect, kind of like different layers, like old city, and then have like a newer city, and like you can see how people appearance change. And so he show like key patterns for these 4 styles, and these key patterns they just look like this, like kind of this, you know. So he say like they have couple this abstract 2D patterns, they give them to their designers, and designers already know how to use them to create design for clothes, technology, everything, because they kind of have these shapes, let's say like a fluid, something. I didn't study visual design, so I have like very general idea like how it works, but this kind of what I'm doing here with like abstract 2D composition. You see it's like castle here is clearly this kind of pattern when we have like dominated vertical, kind of like aggressive, brutal 2D pattern like this. And during all process, like when you draw in 3D forms, when you draw in like textures, all this final look, you should also keep this in mind. And this is actual complexity of visual art, is work simultaneously on like different fields simultaneously. You make in 3D while making 2D. They're not same, they're totally different stuff. They're not kind of connected to each other anyhow. They're coexisting. They're just intersects kind of. So you need to train this logic when you can organize this like oil in water, you know. You kind of you know they cannot melt together, but you can kind of create this combination. Hard to explain, but it's like exactly how Daoism kind of works, I think, like at least how I understand this, because there have this like 2 elements and they're like opposites of each other, but they're coexist, and they're not only coexist, they're creating structures, they're creating patterns, and the way, like which patterns they make, a new element is emerge, kind of, you know, like water, fire, and stuff. And you know, people keep asking about like, oh, how to draw straight lines, or how like how many vanishing points in this perspective. No, it should be like solved in the first week of your drawing studies, kind of. It's not actual problem you should really think much about. It's like all this perspective, coloring, proportions, all this is like very specific, narrow problems which you kind of attack separately. You improve yourself, be more fluent with them, but like making artwork is like it's always kind of like a telling a story. It's like you're trying to you kind of like a moving viewer. You're trying to move him somewhere else. So real artwork always move you somewhere out from where you've been before you seen this artwork. It's like painting, movie, or whatever. It's making kind of enchanting, kind of. because we all actually kind of enchanted, if I remember right meaning of this word. It's like it's not just like media kind of manipulating you. No, you always, all your worldview, it's like gaslighting, and this essence of culture, it's certain like decoration of reality, which is not illusion. It's kind of because like it's will be maybe like mistake call it illusion, because it's the only way how we perceive world, you know. It's like if you want to see what happened, you need see it on a stage of a theater. Otherwise you have no idea what's happening. So it's really like it needs somebody like build stage for you, put like draw decorations on a stage, dress people, in the clothes, say like this good guy, this bad guy, like make some this like archetypical situation, and only then you will get it. You understand world only when it's on a stage. That's why it's kind of very interesting. Without stage, it's just kind of like like waves on in a storm ocean, like everything just moving, changing so fast, you don't really understand what is what. This like from nowhere some punches flying in your face and you're like, what has happened? You don't have time to rehabilitate, and as our lady, some like kick in the ass appear from a haze. This kind of a world in a raw form. We can't stand it. We need we need it to be dressed in the costumes. We need it to be arranged in a kind of like a clear, comprehensive decorations, so we can say like, I know what this is about, and it's like say, yeah, I kind of like have it under control, and I can predict because I know patterns, right? I know narrative, because if this thing it's playing by this scenario, then I can predict where it will go. This is what we need. If we don't know where it goes, then we're lost. And this what is culture. We're telling ourselves stories on a stage, so we kind of can, like, we have some idea of what is happening and who we are. And like different cultures, they have their own theater, their own stage, their own like place. Like I've been, oh hello Dorian, like I've been, for example, yeah, it's I was like forget, yeah, it's Dao temple, yeah, it's like Taiwanese temple, like most kind of common temple. One day I was just like, wait a second, this temple, it's like a library. It's all decorated with characters. It's like, imagine like if you go like comic book store, like Marvel comics, for example, right? And they're everywhere like this Iron Man and whatever, and posters everywhere, like different scenes from these stories, toys. And this what is Dao temple is. They're like everywhere, like scenes in like in the form of illustration, in the form of like a mural, or how it's called. It's like I don't know in English how it's called, like when it's like half sculpture. So it's like a sculpture on a wall. So these scenes which everybody in Taiwan learn from early childhood. It's like when Taiwan people go in the temple, they know exactly who all these characters, what this scene is representing. So this is kind of like a very core theater stage, which is stands kind of behind worldview. It's crazy. It's like, just think about it sometimes. And every culture has this folk kind of, like narratives. Yeah, and stuff. Like me in a school, where everybody study like Greek mythology, and yeah, like I've been watching all these movies like Hercules and also Bible. Yeah, so I think in my case, like it's Greek and Christian narratives. Like in India, they have their kind of pantheon of characters, like this like a universe. And sometimes you can clearly see that people cosplaying these characters. I mean, like, just think about like how crazy it is. I mean, it's really so in your face. But like, if you kind of walk around a little, like with some people from other cultures, you can notice it very clearly. Like when I've been like in this Dao temple and I see some characters, like they have this mythological characters, like some generals, ghosts, and I look at some of them and I see people cosplaying, like Asian people cosplaying these characters. Because just when you trying to be yourself, you I don't know, it's like kind of your chosen role in a play. Because there's like limited amount of roles. You cannot just like made up absolutely like new role, jump on a stage, because no one will understand actually what are you doing, right? Because even this is already a role. It's some kind of Loki or Joker. In a Chinese, it's I think it's something like Monkey King, right? This like raw character who is like breaking rules. So I think like if in Western culture we cosplaying these like characters of like a warrior, king, some kind of like have a character of a hero, right? Like who is kind of able to sacrifice for his people, something like this. So we already kind of from early childhood, from all this culture environment, we have like this picture in the mind, in subconsciousness, some dude like Aragorn kind of, and the music in your head like dun, 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 dun. And they are like brotherhood of knights, or I don't know, maybe like Vikings, right? So then you're like berserker, just unstoppable. And like explosive, because like berserker is like super weapon before, right? Like it was like kind of like a napalm. It's like draw berserker on them from helicopter. He's like, whoa. It's like Viking John Wick. It's crazy, very interesting. Because then when I think about like, okay, wait a second. So if all this, it's archetypes, if all of this is being before me, like it's like it goes so far to past. So probably I think like it's been, it's kind of been before people, or it's emerged with people. So yeah, it's like kind of like a biospirit, this concept. So it's archetypes, it's your kind of, it's like your nature projected like outwards, projected on the world. So, and that's why it's keep repeating and keep kind of remaining same. So yeah, probably I think like biospirit concept, it's the best explanation for this. Let's see, this is cool. So it says like maybe like people is like a form of a spirit, and then so it's like multi-layered, multi-dimensional reality, and where it's like on a deeper level it's some immortal force, on a more superficial layers it goes, it's like physical reality, biological reality, and then it's like mental, like this verbal reality. Where same force is represented in a form of concept. So, but this concept, like people like tend to interpret like we're making up things. It's just like, oh, I just create ideas. No, you're not create. You just verbalize kind of what is already there. Так. And it's kind of there before you and deep inside your nature. It's kind of like only direction you can go. If you go away from this, you will kind of, extinct. You cease to be. At first, like, lose yourself, then lose your mind, and everything else eventually. So only way to go, only way we can go to discover something is just to go to our nature, go to our essence, Так. Especially a few artists. Definitely. Because like look like Miyazaki, right? It's not just fairy tales. Dude is just digging for folk for Japanese culture. He's like really he kind of like know his bias spirit, you know. It's not just like, oh, let's make some funny tales. Так, here's. He basically like I'm sure like after watching all these documentaries with him, reading book like with interviews with him, he is a very spiritual and aware of this subject. So he is kind of like a protecting Japanese culture, kind of, you know. I don't know how to say it in the words properly. Just make sure it's like people don't lost it, kind of making some kind of being on a culture mission for his people. So, так, okay. And this like speaking about essence, kind of here's I think where is core essence eventually. It's like look inside yourself, you will see you have this specific lens, kind of pre-installed in you, you know. And if you're aware of it, when you find it and you know what is it, what it is, you can go directly to it and work with this essence. And there where is the actual creative power nests. All others is just going nowhere. Here's a dude with a horse. Let's look. Some music. Так. One second break.
Who are you?
Bond. Jim Bond. Subscribe, Jim Bond Art. You now have 15 seconds to comply.
Так. I also remind you, share video, push like, and become member. You can support my YouTube by becoming member. It's like very little monthly donation. Very convenient. I'm also a member of some other channels. It's like for each user is very little money, but when it's many people, you start to make like really good income. So like for example, already like this camera I bought from my YouTube money, and this microphone also. So let's make this structure. Also, if you're a member of a channel, you can access Discord, where we talk about different stuff. Yeah, also let me try somebody in Discord. Maybe we can do like a voice chat. Так, stream room 1, 2, 3. Okay, right now I open stream room. Don't know how it works. If somebody in Discord, you can go to stream room. We can check it out. Because yeah, Discord have like opportunity, we can make this kind of rooms for audio conversations. Also, you can show like your homework or your artworks for feedback. You can talk about perspective and stuff. Yeah, it's only problem with different time zones. But you can right now like join my Discord and join me in the conversation. Whoa. My cat keep scratching and bite my hands. Hey, cat. Sleeping all day. Yeah, yesterday went to gym, do kettlebells. Oh, kettlebells so great, feels fantastic. recommend to everybody. It's like really explodes your palms. It's like you like can feel every muscle in my hands now. Before kettlebells, I even don't know there is a muscle. Still kind of some noise level on the microphone. Maybe I need to better manage my room, like put some drapes for better sound quality. Jingle bells. Dum, bum, bum. So there's some pattern for buildings. There's some city far away. Clouds. Conan McClouds. Hello, Jelly Blocks. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll kind of, 5-year standard growing time for YouTube channel. Right now it's just like almost 2 years here. Thank you for feedback. Check out my other videos also. I have very good tutorials here about perspective. Cool, thank you. Okay, we'll check if can make stream faster. Так, next time. Okay, so I think we'll kind of leave it here. So soon will be more video about drawing motorcycles, about coloring. So we'll also color this motorcycle in near future streams. Yeah, and I have a bunch of pictures need to color. So I will make a video about how we can use watercolor to make like comic book style. Like I like Masamune Shiro in a Ghost in a Shell. Coloring looks great. No, right now I don't want to color. We'll do next stream. Yeah. I need to prepare some paint. So anyway, it's already almost 2:30 hours. I think we'll finish it here. So thank you for watching. Check out my other tutorials. Yeah, just kind of, look in the history. They're very cool videos. Really recommend for beginners and for adventurers who are looking for super cool techniques and secret knowledge. Yeah, we'll keep going. Thank you for feedback. All right.
I say what I mean, and I do what I say.